young boy wakes up out of bed, this being the 11-year-old Ryouma Takebayashi, who lives by himself in the forest with 1,000 of his slimes. The boy has experimented on the slime's evolution and learned that they can evolve into different species of slimes depending on what he feeds them. If he feeds them green caterpillars, they become sticky slime types. He uses these green slimes for hunting, with also having acidic slimes that can break down anything. By feeding them weeds, he also made poison slimes, also creating a slime type that can eliminate dirt and smells, being his cleaner slimes. Lastly, he made excrement slimes that can break down any of his waste. The boy's life is very peaceful for the most part. One day while he's walking, he hears some men screaming in the forest for their friend Hughes to wake up. The man is greatly injured. Ryoma walks up to them, trying to help the men, with one of them pointing a sword at him, being very wary of him. Ryoma hasn't seen people in quite some time, so his social skills are a bit rusty. Even with him talking like a caveman, they're able to understand him and know that he's offering them some medicine. Hughes feels better after taking some of it. Ryoma offers for them to rest at his home, with the men accepting. Reinhardt assumes that the boy must be a hunter, but might also have some people waiting for them. Ryoma senses his slimes nearby, stopping. When the men see the monsters, they're on guard, but the boy assures them that they're in no danger. Reinhardt assumes that they're his familiars, telling the boy he used to use slimes back in his day as his familiars. From their conversation, Ryoma is able to understand and take a guess that this man is a tamer, as well as being a noble. The group makes it to a dead end, but then the boy uses his barrier magic to open up his home. Inside, Reinhardt and Jamil find his house very cozy, but the others find it to be suspicious how the boy lives alone and knows magic. The group becomes more pushy to find more information about the boy to learn his identity. When they realize he can make medicine and he knows ice magic, they're more wary. Jamil offers to repay him, but the boy turns it down. The men start to introduce themselves, with Jamil being a duchy or duke. Ryoma bows out of fear, but the man tells him there's no need given the circumstances. Jamil is the short brown-haired mage. Zeph is a tough, rugged man who's a scout. Jill is the man that pulled out his sword against the boy. The men explain that they defeated some bandits in the forest, but then were then attacked by bears. Reinhardt asks the boy, why is he away from the town, and why is he out in the sticks? Ryoma tells the men that his grandparents were adventurers, teaching him all that he knows, but they died 3 years ago, leaving him all alone. With their dying wish, they ask for him to leave the forest, but he thinks that people wouldn't be trustworthy of an outsider. Jamil has the boy touch an orb to see if he's a criminal, as well as see his combat level and skills. The boy touches it and learns that he doesn't have any combat level. Feeling discouraged, the boy gets up to make dinner. Worryingly, Jamil shows the others the rest of his skills, with having a level 10 in house cleaning skills, a level 9 in mental pain resistance, with a level 8 in physical pain resistance. Finding it abnormal that a child has such a tough life to have these type of stats. The group knows they can't leave him out here by himself any longer, so Jamil makes a plan to have a meeting with his family to make the proper arrangements. When Hughes wakes up, he plays with the boy, but is serious for a moment that if he ever needed anything, to come to him, for he's indebted to the boy now. Ryoma finds them to be very nice, feeling bad that he lied to them, with his grandparents not passing away 3 years ago, but himself dying. In his previous life, he was a muscular man who was an overly worked salary worker. One day he found himself overly worked, waking up at a tea party with 3 other gods. The man is shockingly calm after passing, with him seeing both scenarios not so bad. Either this is a dream and he just simply wakes up, or that he passed away and he finally gets to rest. The man worked for a company that was horribly exploiting their workers, with also having terrible bosses and hours. The god of creation, love, and life introduce themselves. The only thing that bothers the man is how he died, with it being from head trauma, from him hitting the floor. Mad it wasn't because of his abusive upbringing, or his boss slamming a beer bottle on his head. In short, the reincarnation process is very similar to that of a manga or anime, so Ryoma isn't surprised by his reincarnation or the terms of the rules, with Ryoma being reincarnated with the purpose of enjoying himself this time. The man is excited to hear that he's been given all types of magical abilities, but the god's pleased to see that he's excited for once. With him signing the contract, he leaves the gods, who tell him to live his life the way he's always wanted to. The gods tell him to go visit the church as soon as he arrives into town, with him crying, appreciating all that they've done. When he wakes up, the boy was given a manual with all of his stats, with him also having all of his stats from the previous life transferred over. He finds a slime, reading about how to tame it and use magic. 3 years have passed, with it being the current day. Soon the men come back to visit the boy, this time bringing Jamil's family. Jamil's father, Reinbach, Eleonora, his daughter, and wife, Elise, greet him. Ryoma introduces himself, with also showing off his slimes, with him able to combine 100 individual types of slimes into one. Elise is beyond excited with the boy, boy, explaining that Ryoma is the first to solve such a feat. Afterwards, the group goes inside, with Jamil getting down to business as to why they came to visit. He first gives the boy a clock, and then he tells them that his daughter is starting her training and she wants to tame a slime. The group learns from Ryoma the different types and different purposes of all of his slimes. Everyone is very intrigued by the types of slimes he has, with the maids liking the cleaning slime especially, with also showing them that he's unharmed by his slimes by putting his hand inside of the creature, with the cleaning slimes only caring about eating the dirt off of him. Eleonora is sure that she wants the cleaner slime to be her first tamer, asking how can she acquire and evolve a cleaner slime. Boy is a bit embarrassed to share how exactly he was able to obtain the cleaner slime in front of the women, with them needing to take a bath and scrape off the dirt off of their body to lower the slime, with the other men understanding why he felt it was so difficult to tell them, but Hughes bluntly tells them the explanation, with the women slapping him in embarrassment. Even after knowing what she has to do, Eleonora is determined to acquire a cleaner slime, wanting to do so all by herself to start her journey. When she comes back, she's able to accomplish her goal. Elise asks the boy, how long does he plan to live out here by himself? Reinbach offers to have the boy come with them on their journey, and he agrees, with the butler in charge of acquiring all of his items and putting into his item box. But Ryoma explains they already have one, further impressing all of them, with this being basic magic, but being very extraordinary for him to do so at a very young age. Elise offers to train him in magic, with Eleonora learning with him. In the carriage, he's asked about what elements can he use, with him explaining that he can use all of them. He continues to amaze them. The carriage is stopped by a landslide closing their path, with them not having long until the bandits would arrive to attack them. Ryoma steps outside, putting on a raincoat he made from the sticky slimes, with the group learning another amazing thing about the boy. Reinbach wonders if they could sell off that coat at the merchant market. The boy has an idea, with him having a more efficient way to solve the problem, so he focuses his magic, creating blocks, levitating the rock, and then his slimes then move the rock out of the way. Elise hugs him like a proud mother, and the group continues on to their journey, and after 2 days of traveling, they make it to their destination of a mining town. But in this town, the mines have all dried up, not able to produce anymore. The Jamil family needs to assess the damage of the mines and see which ones they should keep up and running, and which ones should they close off for good. Ryoma needs a status board, with this working as a person's ID in the town. The head nun gives him a board and tells him to place his hand on the globe. When he does so, he's visited by the gods of this world again. Ryoma thought that he died again, but they inform him he's only returned to see them temporarily. He was told to go straight to the town after arriving, but he didn't do so. But since he was constantly praying to them over these 3 years, he was given a new skill to where they can reach him at any time. With this being his oracle skill, the god of creation mentioned that he's the one that created the slimes, giving them the ability to evolve based on the surroundings. But over time, slimes got used to certain surroundings, with Ryoma being the first one to use this function properly. With this information lost forever, the gods find it interesting that the Jamils would be the first family that he would encounter, with the previous person they reincarnated marrying into the family, with this being a young schoolgirl who wanted to communicate with animals, who married a duke of the family. After she was discovered with her extraordinary talent, Eleonora most resembles the girl, with her attitude, high magical power, and determination. Ryoma asked, would he ever run into some other reincarnated person? The gods inform him that would be practically impossible. Either him or them would have to live for another 200 years to communicate. The gods also mention another one of Eleonora's relatives, under the name Otaku, with the man having the most powerful fire spells they've ever seen. The gods found him to be a nightmare. Luckily, he didn't do anything evil because of his social anxiety, but it didn't stop them from worrying about him constantly. The boy finishes his evaluation. When it comes out, Reinbach feels the need to ask the boy to conceal his power, so he wouldn't get any unwanted attention, suggesting he should register in a guild to try and improve his standing as soon as possible. Naturally, they send Ryoma off to the Tamer Guild, but the guild has had a new trend where they only allow the strongest to rank up, with them only caring about the monster strength that they're able to tame, but not the overall skill of the actual tamer. And since he raised the slimes, he would be at the bottom of the pecking order, making it practically impossible for him to improve his rank. Reinbach decides to take him off to the Adventurers Guild instead, seeing that this guild values combat skill as well as survival skills. The old man tells him to give it everything that he's got, and not to hold anything back. The first test is archery. Ryoma is able to hit all the bullseyes on the target, with the instructor next telling him to get ready for a shotgun test, with this reminding him of someone back in his world bringing a shotgun to the world. For the shotgun test, he has to hit a moving target, with this being out of 50. The boy hits all the moving targets, with the Jamil family being further impressed by his skills. Lastly, the guild leader does a sneak attack with a dull knife. Ryoma reacts to it naturally, catching it and then throwing it back at him. to then only using his earth needle attack. The guildmaster surrenders and confirms that he passed the test, taking him to his office, where he gives the boy his adventurer's card, and the man introduces himself as Wargan. Ryoma is further shocked that the guild leader himself would be his instructor, but the man informs him that randomly out of nowhere, the Duke's entire family asked for him to make a test, so he simply couldn't let anyone else besides him be his instructor. The guild leader decides to put him in the lowest rank, that being of rank G, so other people don't get mad that he made the boy so high of a rank right from the start. So he figures to let the boy rank up from the lowest rank to show everyone how strong he is. Ryoma first talks to the receptionist, who gives him the rules of accepting jobs. He goes to the board to accept the rank G jobs. The jobs posted are for the communal bathroom to be cleaned and house cleaning. The next day, Ryoma decides to accept the house cleaning job. The moment the woman opens up the door, he sees a cat beastman, and the moment the door is open, he can smell the food waste coming from her home. Mia Cat is a female cat beastkin and is a B rank adventurer. Ryoma's slimes pop out, hungry to eat all the dirt they smell. The girl cries as she doesn't know what to do anymore with this house. So this is where we leave off in today's video. And if you liked today's video, here's another one just like it, so go check it out. I'll be breaking down this anime into multiple parts. Now if you liked the video, why not subscribe? I'll be uploading daily videos just like this one, so I'll see you next time.